This video is brought to you by water. Just plain water. Drink it, I guess. So, for those living under a rock or just haven't been on social media in a while, first of all, congrats to you because it's not necessarily the most healthy environment, but you might have missed Marvel's major announcements. As part of Disney's stakeholder talks, a lot of upcoming projects were revealed. While most people, me included, were very excited for what Marvel showed us, such as Moon Knight, Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man 3, and Fantastic Four movie coming up, the comment sections of some of the other announcements were a bit less positive, to say the least. It seems like most people aren't really excited for She-Hulk, Captain Marvel 2, or Riri Williams as Ironheart, calling it forced diversity. Forced diversity is a term that gets thrown around a lot, but what exactly does it mean? Well, according to the internet's most trustworthy source, Urban Dictionary, forced diversity is when a director or author blatantly puts a minority into a story that makes no progression to the story just to pander to the SJWs. So all these guys and gals in the comments, which, to be fair, mostly guys, are pissed about pandering to the SJWs, which I believe can be a fair point of criticism. But is it the case here? Obviously, yes. To address the elephant in the room, these characters are all women. And that's crazy, and I can't believe they're allowed to be on TV nowadays. But in all seriousness, that is not pandering. Characters like Captain Marvel, She-Hulk have been around in the comics for ages. She-Hulk like 80s, Captain Marvel I think like 2000s. Well, the title's been around for a long time, but Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel is relatively new. As for Riri Williams, you could make a case. It's literally just what if an African American girl found an Iron Man suit and reverse engineered it and became the new Iron Man, and she was mentored by the hologram of Tony Stark in the comics, I believe. But are these characters unnecessary, or are they just there because of their race and gender? Well, you can make an argument that yes, they probably went forward Captain Marvel because they wanted to have a female superhero, whereas some other characters are a bit more popular, like a Ghost Rider or a Blade, although those are coming and Ghost Rider was an Agent of Shield. But were they picked because of the gender? Well, yeah, there's a chance of that. But I don't think there's an issue with Marvel wanting to have a somewhat equal distribution of male and female superheroes because it's Disney. They gotta get that sweet, sweet cash. They'll do anything for it, even pandering to the SJWs, guys. It's not out of their league. However, having a minority character can also facilitate certain stories that are very interesting. Look at Jessica Jones, for example, which I think is a great Marvel Netflix show, and could only be done because of the main character being a woman, right? Or a woman. That's the specific angle they're going for, and that facilitates a great show. Captain Marvel could have been male Captain Marvel, but it could have been female as well. It doesn't really matter, and the most recent comic book version is the female one. For the character of She-Hulk, obviously those characters like She-Hulk and Spider-Woman and Batgirl are always going to be like just gender bent versions of the main characters of Spider-Man and Batman. But She-Hulk is, pretty distinct from regular Hulk, although they are related. And she has the whole I'm a lawyer angle for superheroes, which is super interesting. Although we did have a very good lawyer in the MCU with superhero ties, so bring back Daredevil. Sorry, sorry guys, a man got a cough nowadays. Anyway, for She-Hulk, I think that's not pandering. I think it's an amazing character that should have been adapted earlier, and I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with it. And I hope they go for the lawyer angle. And yeah, I can't wait for it. But then the big bad SJW panderer, Riri Williams' Ironheart. What can we say about this? Yes. Is it a female Tony Stark if Tony Stark was an African American girl? Yeah, pretty much. And so is that pandering? I guess in a way, yes. It's making a character for a specific audience and making a character relatable to a specific audience as well. And where you might say, well, it's ridiculous. Why do they do this? I can understand it. We know that representation in the media is important. There's been studies about this. I'll try to find some, but I'm probably not going to do it. But you have to believe me. I study communication science. I know this. representation in the media is very important, and for a lot of people, it's really fine or really great to see a superhero that is like them, that's relatable to them, and that goes for straight white males just as much as that goes for homosexuals or African American girls, whatever. Look, I don't want to go around and saying that, I want to make Captain America transgender so it appeals to transgender people because that'd be ridiculous. But if there's certain characters that can be made and that are interesting, and I don't think Reed Williams has shown that yet in the comics, to be fair, but that's why show is a good way to do that. That are from minority groups, and I think that can offer even greater storyline potential. For example, look at Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, who's a young Muslim girl, but that is a cool storyline because the idea of a Muslim and a superhero is kind of unexpected. You won't expect it, and it makes for an interesting angle to look at. And sure, as a straight white guy in his 20s, it's not very relatable to me, but it still makes for an interesting story. And for a lot of people that are like her, it is very relatable, and it's great for them to see a character that is like them on TV in a superhero movie, the biggest platform in media basically that exists ever, because they're really big. The superhero movies, like, it's insane, like it's maddening, but that's for another time. So basically, what I want to conclude on is that yeah, some of these things are a bit pandering, but look at what we got. There were 10 things announced, and a lot of them are just phenomenal, and I'm super excited for Moon Knight and Fantastic Four finally, right? And if there's then one or two shows that try to appeal to a specific audience that doesn't have a lot of representation in the media yet, right, and they can make those into great shows, then I think it's a win-win for everybody. Like, sure, am I gonna watch Ironheart? Probably not. It's not on my high on my list. There's a lot of things I want to watch before. But am I happy that there's a lot of people that want to watch Ironheart and finally see somebody like them in a show like that? Yeah, that's great. That's good for them, and I'm really happy that Disney wants to, use us all as cows and milk us for every bone of our body and take all that sweet cash and hoard it, like, so they can reanimate Walt Disney's corpse. But in all seriousness, like, look at what we got offered. As long as they make good shows, I don't care about the main characters. Keep the characters comic book accurate for a most sense. Swapping some things isn't too bad, but don't make Fantastic Four black because that's ridiculous. But making stories about existing characters, although some of them are very new. Yes, Riri Williams is a very new character that happen to be minorities can be a very interesting and a new angle to look at a superhero story from, because we already had a ton of videos and films about a cool guy in a suit rescuing his hot girlfriend from an evil version of himself in the same cool suit. So don't worry, be happy. If you don't want to watch Ironheart, if you don't want to watch She-Hulk, that's fine. Nobody cares. Just don't go around making like a big deal about it and how it's ruining Marvel, because there's plenty of good to come. And if one story doesn't appeal to you, 20 more will, because you know Disney's gonna keep putting these out until we have no money left and we're all bowing down to our mouse overlords. With that happy image being left in your mind, I want to wrap this up because I don't accidentally want to make a video over 10 minutes because, I might get money for it. I also want to remind you of the fact that more than half of the population of this earth is not subscribed to my YouTube channel, and that I'm, well, very disgusted about this, and you should just subscribe because it's like civil duty or whatever. Thank you for listening.